rifle. Very little hand-to-hand except in extreme cases. Stewart, for example, 3,000 against 10,000. And Yellow Tap, where he held it at the cost of his life. 3,000 held him off, and it was hand-to-hand for close to 4 hours. Just unamazing. Sniper right there. Man be watching, whoever it was, he had about a second shot. Got his scope, got an elevator, he was watching for him. He knew that 1 second hit. This is the only time they can use the rifle. This rifle is $12. So they can get him. There's still shot right there. I don't know what they're going to do there. In this particular battle, you can see that the Confederates definitely had the advantage in the high ground. Feared most was gas, because out was moving and push. The only real defense we had was to form a box with the bayonet fixed up high so we could get the horse if they come. Here in General Force, it's very low today. Along with General Longstreet. Some I don't cross it. I work great. Sergeant Major, I call it something. Oh, only one. Must have up the tally. Here comes another one, took up the tally. He's pushing him, boys. Rally with the Union boys. Push him. I know that's General Force out there. How can you yell against Force and Longstreet? Right now, I would have a signal corps with me. If I was the signal corps would allow them to know.
Where you going?
Little guy sitting down there with the little case on. That is the powder monkey. He's a very important part. The powder monkey is the young man that carries the powder. That
Ooh, God almighty.
They call them possum bellies, yes, a little bit. It's getting me. I got tickled out there when we were hand in hand. One of them hollered, "You blue possum belly." I got tickled out here. Those different colorations, red always represents artillery unless it's a zoo-off everybody knows where my position is supposed to reach up to the general. Straight down, he's not going to come in. Where is it? They say, where is it? No, must let people know the truth about what really transpired during that terrible time. It was not 2 pages. I'm a U.S. history teacher, taught for all these years, as you can tell, wore out. I taught history. And it's an insult to me to read 1 page about the Civil War. It's an insult to me to read 1 page on the Revolutionary War. And it's surely an insult to me as a Vietnam veteran to read nothing in our history books. What are they going to say about Iraq? It didn't happen. We must remember. And the way we remember is events like this. That's the reason I love this. That's the reason I love Revolutionary War, Native American heritage. I worked 6 years out on the Native American reservation just so I can truly understand what the people went through, because they are my people also. Lest we forget, this is our duty. That's a good point. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, Guardians on the shack, both blue, both gray, both sides defending the cause in which they honestly were willing to give their lives, and some did. And I was asked a minute how many people died here. A question that we will never know, but by the hundreds of bullets and constants we were finding already, this one gentleman had a minute ago, there's a lot of blood there. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a passing review to honor you for being here this day, to honor these men, these women. They gave up their holiday weekend to be here with no thought of being reimbursed financially, because we love history that much. To honor those men and women that fought here, that gave their lives for what they truly believed here on the solemn ground. But more importantly, those men, those women that are currently serving in Iraq and Afghanistan and across this world fighting terrorism so that you can sit here in America, land of the free, and enjoy our country. Because freedom came with a price, the infusion of blood, which we must remember lest we do this again. But most of all, we do this to honor honor God, creator of all things, the founder of the feast, and remember that we are here for just a twinkling of an eye before we cross that serpent veil into another world, and we will be once again reunited with those men of yesteryear and those people yet to come. So at this time, Colonel, take charge of your men. God bless you.
Battalion!
Company!
Company! Chest! Out!
Attention,
company! Shoulder! Shoulder! Arms! Fine people of Tazewell. Present!
Present!
Present! Arms! Shoulder!
Shoulder!
Arms! Right about!
Right about!
Faith! For our ancestors who went before us, whether they wore the blue or the green. Extreme elevation! Ready!
Ready!
Stick cover!
Arm!
Arms!
Arm!
Look, Fred!
Load out!
Load!
That allowed us to come here and put on this performance with the hope that you go out and tell other people what you saw here. Because this is one of the shows that's growing things in the nation, and we love to have it here. Think about it. We could have the event here versus going all the way to Gettysburg, because our heritage is just as important. Sir, owner of our property.
Gentlemen, our God, our country, and our honor. Ready?
Ready!
Recover!
Cover!
Arms!
Arm!
Load and prime!
Last volley, I'd like to dedicate it to those people who don't want to walk this earth, but are here this day. So they walk upon the land. They walk upon the land and surely get what you stand.
Quickly, come the shoulder when loaded.
There's no doubt in my mind. One of our dear brothers that reenacted with us that passed away not too long ago. We carry his flag today, Captain. We carry his flag, along with all the other brothers that we have lost. Let us offer that, and let us offer this volley to all those people that are sick, shut in, and let this be a prayer to heaven as we shoot into the sky. Remember them. God, our beloved country, and those that cannot be here this day. This last volley, good and honor, all the brothers, and their families. This salute. Young Billy and
Battalion!
Ready! Recover! Arms!
Company commanders, take charge of your troops. Thank you, gentlemen.
Company, right about!
Company! Right!
1770. Across the mountain, through the Cumberland Gap into Kentucky. The land was green, good for growing things. Seemed like we found the promised land. We settled in with Master Boone in a fort called Boonesboro. It was hard living on the fort, different from Virginia. But once we settled in, things went so bad. All the cabins were set side by side and joined together in the square. The center was empty. But the Indians trying to attack us all the time turned out to be a good way to keep us from getting killed during the raids. Stayed there for a while, and Master Esther and his brother decided to build their own fort. Naturally, they called it Fort Esther. Things were mighty nice. One day, somebody passing by gave me a gourd full of apple seeds, and I planted them. Them trees are fully grown now. Now, I always ponder how I come to be the only one to know how to make the saltpeter we use for gunpowder. It seemed to me nobody else was interested in learning how to make it, except for our Captain Daniel Boone. And I was the one that taught him. The first thing you need is the richness of the earth. The best kind of dirt to use is any kind of dirt full of manure. The best place to find that dirt is digging out from under outhouses. Maybe that's why too many people don't want to learn how to make saltpeter. Started out making enough just for our fort, but since nobody else was making none, got to making enough for several forts around us. It's funny how one thing reminds you of another. Master Esther was never one to stay put very long. We moved from Fort Esther to Esther Station. Mid-March of that year was cold. Some men spied an empty engine raft on the Kentucky. A sure sign they was in the area and likely not friendly. Master Esther and about 25 men scouted to the north and toward the east of the Kentucky River. Early that same morning, a cold breeze flowed through the chinks of the fort. Woke a girl up from a dream named Jenny Gass. Jenny Gass was Captain Gass's daughter. She went about telling everybody who would listen how she had a dream that she seen a ladder reaching from the heaven to her earthly home. It was bidding her to come to the heaven. Then she said she seen a girl reaching up the rungs of the ladder, higher and higher and higher, until it felt like she was in the heaven. She went from cabin to cabin telling all 9 families. Lord, she was so happy. Should have known something bad was going to happen, though. I paid it no mind, because I had work to do. Me, Jenny, and another slave named Dick set out the big gate to do our chores. They went to catch the sap from the sugar maple. I hitched up 2 horses. Just as I was leaning down to tie my load, 2 Indians snuck up from behind me and bound my hands with tugs. Dick started to run. He cried for Jenny to do the same. From the fort, I can hear Jenny's mother cry, "Run, Jenny, run! The Indians is attacking!" I seen little Jenny running, but all she was running. Her dress and her apron blowing in the wind, her dark hair blowing out beside her. She wasn't just but outside the fort when one of those Indians shot her. Dragged her behind the tree and stopped her right there. That wasn't bad enough. He hopped up on a log, mocking Jenny's mother, waving her hair, crying, "Lun, Jenny, lun!" Jenny's brother John got a clear shot. But the sadness for his sister took hold and went wide. I'll never forget, I read that snow was full of Jenny's blood. The men just lit in and asked me how many men was inside the fort. Seeing how the men was out looking for these Indians, I know not to tell the truth. I said, "There's way more men than you Indians." The men just started to quarrel among themselves. I said to myself, "Monk, what you gonna do now?" The men just must have believed me because they didn't attack the fort. They burned all the sheep and the cows and crops and dragged me off with them. When we were out of sight, they sent 2 young masters from the fort to tell Captain Esther and the men the news. The boys found them early the next morning. Captain Esther and about 25 men crossed the Kentucky in canoes. They tracked the Indians with ease in the snow. They set up camp near a little rise called Little Mountain. They slept on their guns that night. Early the next morning, Captain Esther spied us crossing Little Mountain Creek and fired 2 shots to scare the Indians up the other side of the cane break. I can hear Captain Esther tell his men, "Every man to his man and every man to his tree." But the men just was picking out their prey. Captain Esther's defense was getting weak. I shouted loud and clear, "Don't give up, Captain Jim. It's only 25 of them. You can whip them." That seemed to rally the men. Big Sam Esther killed 2 of them with 1 shot. But the engine was crossing the river, coming down hard. I could hear the captain tell his men, shore up and tighten the rakes. But they were spread it too wide. There was no way they could get back together. In the meantime, I managed to escape. Captain Esther told me to get to the rear and hold the horses. Then Captain Esther could have won that fight if Lieutenant Miller and his men would have stayed and fought. Instead, they ran. When they ran past me, I said, Lieutenant Miller, you got to stay and fight. He said, I'll be a foolhardy to stay here and be shot down. Pretty soon, all the men were dead or wounded. Master Esther was trying to help one of them dying men when the engine rushed him with a knife. The two fought long and hard. Captain Esther had just taken his arm out of a sling a day or so earlier. For the longest, that engine had him on the ground trying to stab and jab the captain. Captain Esther kept holding him off with his arm until finally Captain Esther's arm gave and the engine stabbed him right through the heart. With Master Esther dead, the fight was over. We gathered up the wounded and headed back to Esther Station. A fellow by the name of James Berry got shot in the thigh. He couldn't walk. Flung him over my back, carried him nearly 25 miles to safety. When the war was over, Master Esther's son Wallace made me a free man. He said, when I told that lie about how many men was inside the fort, that I saved everybody's life, and that I saved James Barrett's life. Truth be told, twixt much difference of being a slave and being a free man. You see, out here on the frontier, every man has to stand on his own feet. Like every tub has to stand on his own bottom. Most slaves can't get married and live with their wives. I've been married 3 times. Got myself 30 children. My oldest son, Jeremy, was the first black born free in the state of Kentucky. I try to do right by the good Lord. I miss Captain Esther, though. He was fair man. But I'm thankful for his son, Wallace, taking care of me all these years, even after he gave me my freedom. But you see, there's a mighty many more men and women, slaves out here in Kentucky that pray for their freedom. Maybe one day. Till then, we got plenty of baskets to fill and to carry. I found free grace in the wilderness, in the wilderness. I found free grace in the wilderness, in the wilderness. For I'm ready for him to carry.
Baby, tell me. He said, when Master Missy do something good for you, I just told you. I said, when they tell me to do something good, I said, thank you. And they said, you're welcome. He said, Master Missy says, Dankeschön and bitteschön. We talked for a long time. They tell me that the husband says he was what we call a slave. And he worked on this farm. And I noticed the farms here are smaller than the farms that I'm accustomed to down in South Carolina. You got cottages and flats. You make the linen out of here. But here you got something called hemp. You ever heard of that? Hemp. That's what they make the ropes out of, they say. And they take to out the cotton. And that a lot of your slaves work in what they call mines. They say they work for manufacturers. Only thing you know how to work is either in that cotton field or in the house or you cook. And you dig up the ground and plant the crops. You don't leave that plantation nothing. He told me that they can leave and they can go to a place called Louisville. They can go up there and they can mingle with the free slaves. If he's got 2 days off, he said he can stay up there them 2 days and he can be hired out while he's up there. He might need some help, out, he said, and you can pay him that his money. We don't do that now. That's what he was telling me. He said they go to church, they Master Jesus, and I go to church with my Master Jesus. They asked me to go to church with them, and I did. And the very same thing I heard that man who delivered the Hebrew children. They say these Hebrew children were what? They were slaves. And I knew back in South Carolina, and I started in South Carolina talking to this man. So I used to see my missus over there, two of them in these at night, talking to the same man they're talking about in church. That must be somebody special about this man. What if us slaves started talking to him and asking him to help us out? Will you help us to be good? Hebrew children so long. I'll say, he's well. The Lord healed him. He believed in it. I decided that's what I could do. I just started talking to the Lord. Get him when he's no credit, telling him. Hey, take me home. I'm tired of being a slave. I want to go home. Somebody said when you close your eyes when you get the law, you know he's gonna say, you ain't no more slave. Well done, my good and faithful servant. And you know what? They said you'll see all those loved ones of yours that's been gone for so long. Your brother, sister, your mama, your pa, they're all there. Welcoming you home. You know what? Y'all look like y'all happy down here. And I'm tired of it. I'm ready to go home with the Lord. But I will tell you this, and I hope you understand what I'm getting ready to say. Every last one of you, I never envied anybody in my whole life. But if you're from around these parts, you're living on these scorching grounds. Have you started writing this information down so the young folk that's coming along will have this information? Have you got pictures that you can read for them, that you can share with them? Let them know that somebody in their family survived difficult times and you got every single thing that they wanted. Have you got this? Are you sharing this with your young folks in your family? I wish I had that information as a slave that I could leave to those that are coming along after me. You know? I know I'm going through one of those things. I can keep it. You know, it's good. I said, your work on this earth is good. I need you here with me. And I'm going to welcome you closing my eyes and opening up. And the Lord saying, well done, Cassie, my good and faithful servant. Y'all can stay here. Because you see, soon I will be done with the troubles of the world. Troubles of the world. The troubles of the world. Oh, soon I will be done with the troubles of the world. Going home to live with God. I want to see my mother. I want to see my father. I'm going to see my master. I'm going to live with God. Thank God I'm free at last. Again, thank you all so very much. Before we go, I wish you would just go and talk to that free slave. Just for a few minutes and listen to him. Thank you all. So very much.
Thank you.
I love you all. Keep me in your prayers.
You know, I'm an old man. I'm a real old man. I ain't near surprised I used to be. And I can't talk as loud as I used to talk. And I'm tired. I'm really tired. So if I say something and y'all can't hear it, please let me know. Why are you looking at me like that, man? She's looking at me awful curious there. I was wondering, she looked like she's eyeballing me is what she's doing. I was just wondering, you know, when y'all turned around, I thought you was going to just walk away and not talk to the old man out here, and then you turn around and you want to eyeball me. And I was wondering, so it caused me to just want to ask the question, how come you looking at me that way? But I think I know. I do cut quite a statue. But let me let you get to know me for a little while here, and I need to tell y'all a little bit of something about me. And y'all need to come just a little bit closer, because I don't want to yell this out, and I don't tell this to a whole bunch of people, because I don't like to talk about it, to be honest with you. Would you believe? Are you mad with somebody, young lady? Good. That's good. You don't mind me talking to you, do you? That's good, because I need somebody to talk to. I got to get this off my chest. Would you believe I used to be a slave? Would you believe that? Why? Thank you, man. Because I am a truthful person. I did. I was listening to Miss Kissy talk to y'all, and I just love sitting back listening to her sing. Don't she sing like an angel? She sings like an angel. But she's talking about going home. And she's talking about seeing her mama and her daddy. You ever seen your mama and your daddy? I ain't never seen my mama. My mammy, I ain't never seen her. I don't know what she looked like. You ever seen your daddy? I didn't know my dad. My family, I never seen him either. I never seen either one of them. I was 5 years old, and they sold me. I've been working since I was 5 years old. Sir, you look at me, and I can see the question in your mind. What does a 5-year-old slave child do to consider it work? I can see that. I know you're thinking about that. Well, I'm going to tell you what they did to me and what they made me do. They had this little chair, and all it was a little plank about like that, but about that wide, about like that, yeah. And they put ropes on it, the ropes, and I had to sit in it, and I hold on with my arms, and they gave me this fan, you see. And during the summertime, they'd hoist me up over the supper table. And I'd sit there with that fan, and what I was doing was fanning the flies off the food. And I'd fan them flies. Now, them folks, they ate good. Them biscuits, they look good. They had chicken. I ain't never tasted that. They wouldn't let me eat that way. And I had to sit there and fan them flies. And they ate. And they ate. And they talked. I don't know what they was talking about. And they talked, and I'd fan. Now, I'm getting tired of fanning right standing here. Now, you can imagine me sitting up there in that chair, hungry, watching that food, and getting tired, and it's hot, and I'm getting a little sleepy, but I wouldn't stop because they had a hickory. You know what a hickory is? It's a hickory stick or whip. And when I slowed down, pow, oh, Lord, they'd hit me, and I'd fan up again. I'd fan, and I'd fan, and I'd fan. But you know what? I had a little devilment in me. Yeah, I did. When they turned their heads, I take that fan that I had. They had gravy sitting on the table. I dipped that fan in the gravy, and I fan real quick. And whoops, I'm sorry. Oh, yes. But you know, I started growing. I growed up. You know what they did to me? They put me out in the fields. They put me out in the fields working, and I had to work. And we worked this way called, we used to call it, till you can, till you can't. Till you can, till you can't. You know what I'm talking about? Till you can, that means the sun up, you can see. Till you can't, sun down. All day long we worked. And we worked hard. There have been days that I worked out there. Many a days. Probably that just about every day I'd be working out there and my hand, look at these hands. They strong hands. You can touch them, ma'am. I won't hurt you. They strong, but they's a little calloused. But they were strong hands, but I'd work so hard my hands would bleed. Blood be running off my hands. It's about baby dropping in the dirt and be caked up. But I had to keep on working. And I had to keep on working. I worked so hard. So hard. You know what I'm talking about when you're working out there and you just got to, I can't go another step. I can't move another step. I just got to sit down. I need to rest for a little while. I got to get, oh Lord, wait a minute, I can't rest. I can't sit down because you ever had a cramp grab you? After, oh Lord, it's grabbing me all over. And when I look down, my body's all wretched with pain. Cramped up, knotted up. And I looked down, and not only were my hands bleeding, there were bloody footprints in the dirt. I didn't have no, look at my shoes. Look how cute my shoes are. You see how cute I didn't have no shoes then. I didn't have no shoes, but I worked hard. I worked from sunup to sundown. I heard Miss Cassie over there talking to y'all. And she talked to y'all about them happy days that the slaves would have where they had time to themselves, where they had time for their own. And sometimes if you's married, your husband lived down the road or had been farmed out or hired out on another plantation or hired out someplace else. On your own time, you could go see him. He could come see you. Well, I didn't have no time like that. I didn't have no time like that. I worked. On my free time, I worked. For you see, I've been grown up. And now I got skills. People wants me to work for them. So the master hires me out. And I goes out on my own every now and then on my free time and I earn money. And when I'm on my time and I'm hired out and I work every day, sun up to sun down, that money that I earn is mine. I don't have to give that to the master. I keep that myself. That's mine. And you know what I do with it, don't you? I saved it. I saved that money. I saved every penny I made. And you know why I saving that money, don't you? Now, you knew I was going to call on you. You know why I'm saving that money, don't you? Come on now. Use that brain. Think about it. Why am I saving ma'am? Ma'am, I'm not going to escape. I don't want to run from nobody. Here it is. Here, wait a minute. Did y'all hear that little word?
You're going to pay for your freedom.
Well, no, the little word. The little word.
Freedom.
There it is. Let me say it again.
Freedom.
You know what? That's a little bitty word. A little bitty word. I bled. My muscles were wretched and all knotted up. I bled out of I didn't have no shoes. I worked every day, sun up to sundown. I saved every penny I could get because I wanted to buy something that was dearer to me than life itself. And that was that little bitty word. It was called freedom. Now hear this. One day I had the money and I went in there and I gave the master. I said, Master, is it time now? And he said, I'll take it. And he let me go. He signed the forms and I was, I was a free man. I bought my freedom. Freedom. Let me tell y'all something. You know this. I can tell you the kind of man that would know this. Children. Chillin'. Hear me speak. Freedom ain't free. I worked long and hard for my freedom. Freedom ain't free. ain't never been, ain't is now, and never will be. But when you get it, you hold it close to your heart. I would rather go home. You heard Miss Kissy sing it. I'd rather go home, see my mama and my daddy. I can't, if I was there, I don't got no home to go to. And if I saw my mama, I wouldn't know what she looked like. They sold me when I ain't never seen my daddy. What she's talking about is this. Before I be a slave again, I'll be dead and buried in my slave, and I'll go home to see the Lord. Protect your freedom? No different than I did, sir. For I earned it. I bled for it. I bought it, and I wear it. Now, I see you eyeballing me again. You're looking at me a little bit different now. Just a little bit different. And I know you're asking, his hands are no longer bleeding. He's got pretty shoes on. He cuts quite the stature of a man. So how is he making his money now? How is he making and earning his keep now? I got something I want to show y'all. Come with me, yeah. I'm gonna show you. Come, excuse me, sir. Come on down here, yeah. Yeah, come on right on over here. Come on now, don't be shy, I don't bite much. Before I show y'all what I got, I need to ask you a question. I need to ask a question. I need to find a truthful person to answer this question. She's going, not me. Have you ever been lost?
Yes.
You have been lost? The reason I didn't ask a man that question, the reason is I asked a man that question just yesterday. I asked him that. I said, sir, have you ever been lost? And he looked me dead in my eye. And he said, no, sir. I have never been lost, only confused. Well, I don't want to have anybody confused, but watch this. Now, look, this is what I got to show you. Looky, right over there. You see where them two mountains come together? Y'all know where that is, what that is? Ah, yeah. That's the gap. That cut is called the Cumberland Gap. Now, you ask, why is that dear to my heart? Now, there's some things that I used to do, and I told y'all when I was earning my money that I worked hard. There were days that I had to steal away. I had to just get away. And when I did that to be to myself, I didn't run away to escape. I just needed to get some quiet time. I needed to heal. So I stole away. And I've been traipsing around these here hills for many a year. There ain't a creek or a holler or stump or tree that I don't know up yonder. Now, keep people from getting lost in them hills. Can you imagine being lost in them hills and how scared you'd be? To keep you from happening that, I guides people through. And that's the way I makes my money. I told y'all these are strong hands. So I carry the equipment sometimes. And I pulls the mules, the leader for the mule. I leads the horses, and I gets people through. Them people that come through with me, they don't worry, because we always makes it through. Now, they don't talk much about me, about leading people through, and that's all right. But there's this one thing I want y'all to remember, because I know you'll always remember me, won't you?
I promise.
There's a group of people that came through with the likes, and I know you've heard this name, Daniel Boone. He's a good man. But there are people that came through with Mr. Daniel Boone. And there are people who came through with Mr. Lincoln, that we don't talk about very often. There were people who were like I used to be, who didn't have an opportunity to buy their way to that little tiny word. There were slaves who guided people through them hills. Don't forget them. Now, I'm going to do something for you. I'm going to do you a favor. I ain't even going to charge you for it. I'm going to guide you to where you need to go next. Just go right on down there and see them ladies. Hey, y'all, have a good day, you hear?
The more I eat, the better I like it. See, look at the inside of it. How well it's cooked and seared. But there's a funny looking outside skin of it. What are those little things there? Mumpy. What are those mumpy things? Stick out your tongue for a minute.
This is part of
That was good.
the part
Oh, okay. Good. Good for you.
Oh, wait. Okay.
Try it.
Yeah, technically we're not supposed to. For something like this, I know one girl who is a daughter of Lorraine.
So they had to make it more. And they used to have spinning grounds where a group of ladies would get together and all spin and visit and enjoy each other's company. And then the yarn would be given to the master for his payment. And he could sell it and make money that way. When you've heard of quilting bees, it's a similar thing. Women getting together to make something.
Heard of spinning yarns?
Well, yes.
Is that what it came from? Spinning yarn?
I don't
Spin a yarn?
There's
They
some
must
here
have
who
told
are
stories,
spinning
right?
yarns.
Yeah.
Tall ones. And the word spinster
Right, spinster.
came from this, but it doesn't. In the 18th century, it didn't necessarily mean a single woman.
Oh, okay.
It just meant a spinner.
Right. It didn't mean a wealthy single woman like it does today. Spinsters.